All right, juiciest matchups, week 15.
The Shield.
This is an interesting slate. 2 box office matchups. We got to start out with talking what could be the Super Bowl. You've been on the Lions. You've also been on the Bills, called the 1L. I've cashed a bunch of tickets on both teams, although I've faded the Bills a little more than I've liked this year. But we got Bills off an L in L.A. Detroit can't lose.
Fast track out in L.A.
Where are we at with this matchup? Because a lot of sharps came in on the Rams, fading the Bills. Was that the lay the egg spot to come back and dust Detroit off at Ford Field? What say you on this juiciest matchup?
Tough spot. You go from L.A., then you go back, then you go to Detroit. 2 weeks off in a row, or 2 weeks on the road in a row, both indoors. Like, let's be honest. The big wins that they've had, they beat the Chiefs at home.
Yeah.
Comfortable. They get a snow globe against the Niners at home. That's pretty comfy. They are a lot more comfortable in that atmosphere than they are indoors, where Detroit is extremely comfortable.
Right.
That Lions-Packers game was so physical. That was the most physical football game I've seen in a few years, I'm pretty sure. Go back and watch that game on a short week. It was so physical.
How can a shootout be physical? I mean, maybe from a divisional standpoint, I thought it was just offense on offense.
What was the final score of that game?
Like 34-30, was it 34-31 or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they each were coming off a week of rest, though, because they both play on Thanksgiving.
They played on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
In any event.
But either way, go back and watch it. I thought it was extremely physical. That would worry me more about
So
Green Bay.
what do you think, like, this game does – Detroit doesn't need to get up for this game, I guess, as much as Buffalo, but then you can make the case Buffalo lost the 1 seed on the McDermott timeout, which I can't get over.
I think they do need to worry about it because Detroit hasn't even locked up their own division.
Well,
Minnesota's all over them. They only have 2 losses. The Lions have 1. You got to win the division.
I guess
and then get
Minnesota
the 1 seed.
I continue to not see as a real threat.
Well, I don't think they're a threat.
In
but
the division.
What the rest of their division is, or their schedule's been extremely soft.
They've just taken care of the division games, so that's why I feel comfortable if they get to the same record.
I mean, the rest of their schedule I don't think is very tough. I don't have Minnesota's schedule in front of me, but they don't have any leeway. They can't lose.
So this actually could be because from a Buffalo standpoint, if you're betting, you don't feel great about laying the points on Detroit when Buffalo's off an L.
But that's the thing. We keep saying that. Every week we say that with Detroit. They cover every week.
I took the Bears at your house, 9.5.
That's all. Yeah, they did. That's the only week they didn't cover.
Well, the Packers covered 3.5. That was a super sharp line.
Super sharp.
So I'm wondering, like, is this a Lions win Bills cover game?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's shaping up to be another shootout. We just saw what happened in Buffalo against the Rams. The Rams put up a ton of points. Detroit's defense is beat up and comfortably.
Is there an angle here on from a betting perspective that you feel comfortable about one way or another? We're just gonna sit back and enjoy it. Right now, Vegas has this as
it's 3.5, right?
3. Yeah, I'm just making sure it didn't move. Now it's 2. Wow, now it's 2.5. Buffalo 2.5.
Yeah, I'd have to lay it. You could teaser. You could put Buffalo in a teaser, but I would lay 2.5.
Take the Detroit.
The total is 54.5 too. So they're expecting a high-scoring game to the shootout point.
Yeah.
Preview of the Super Bowl.
If I had to bet, I'm not fading Detroit in their building. I know they're banged up on D. That is a worry.
Yeah.
I just can't fade them in that building. You probably should just watch this game, to be completely honest.
I like it. All right. Battle of Pennsylvania. Fascinating matchup. Often getting preseason. Steelers at Philly. Steelers at Philly. Obviously some off the field-ish, which
is an unbelievable watch.
Unbelievable watch. Do you think?
Let me give you the Eagles. What's been going on with Philly? They start the year with 2 wins, or it was 1 or 2 wins. As soon as they lose 2 games in a row, fire the coach. Everything is a disaster. Mind you, A.J. Brown's out, Devontae Smith's out. They're missing their best players. Fire the coach. Everything is wrong. Something is waiting to bubble up there. Now they run off 9 in a row? I don't understand that. That's a broken culture to me. The fact that problems are bubbling up and you're winning means if you lose a couple, what's going to happen then? And now they have to play Pittsburgh, The rest of their schedule is treacherous.
I will say this. I heard Bart say this on Bart and Hahn. He said they were winning in New York, the Rex Ryan team, string of wins, and Santonio Holmes just decides to chirp that he's not getting the ball. And basically the observation was that wide receivers are just going to wide receiver. They don't get the ball. They don't get their touches. They don't get paid. They don't hit their incentives. They're selfish. They're all about me. It's been that since we were 5 years old. Wide receivers are just those dudes.
Sure.
A.J. Brown, I don't know if does he have the cachet on an 8-game win streak to be talking? I don't know, because I don't think he's a top 3 NFL wide receiver. He's in the top 10 without question. He's hovering on top 5. But my goodness, man, I don't know. Is it a Philly thing?
But his argument would be the reason I'm not top 3 is because I don't get the rock.
Well, you saw like on the week where Debo tweeted, like they won and he tweeted, I'm fine. I'm just not getting the ball. LLLL. Like it's just those are just wide receivers.
Yeah.
I think you're speculating on something that is actually probably worth exploring if they have the season go south. Internal problems. Sirianni might not be the guy. Sirianni's probably a great dude when we're winning.
I'm still not a big time believer in Philly. I think they beat one team with a winning record.
They're not going. I don't think they're going to go.
Win streak.
I don't think they're going to go anywhere in this.
Then
playoffs.
they go to Baltimore, who's been wishy-washy all year, and Baltimore lays an egg, and then they beat Carolina.
If you were to pick a winner in this one, knowing the Steelers are about to rattle off, they got Baltimore, they got Kansas City, 3 games in 10 days.
Well, Kansas City's not tough, so they don't. That's not that big a deal. That's not that tough of a game, to be completely honest.
You are wild.
I'm dead serious.
That was a stray a little bit.
No, it's not a stray at all. You think that Pittsburgh defense is worried about that Kansas City offense at all?
I'm with Sean. I'm with Sean on this
I
one.
think that this Chiefs team is just finding ways to win, and we're being nitpicky, kind of like the Lions.
I think the Steelers defense is clearly the best overall unit of any unit in the NFL right now, and I think they can beat any team. I think they could beat the Eagles on Sunday, and I think they could beat the Chiefs.
Steelers just gave up way too many points in a couple of instances, but it is what it is.
I think Ben's forgetting about the Bears punting unit. Torrey Taylor's been nails this year. Just kidding.
Like if this Steelers-Chiefs game comes down to defense, I lean Chiefs. There's just no way.
Okay, what about offense?
Well, offense is just going to be a chess match. I mean, the offense. I hate Kansas City
honestly,
as a Chargers fan.
You could just say anything about Kansas City. Their defense is really good. So Mahomes doesn't have to score a lot of points.
It's fair.
And when the offense is, then it's like, well, what about how they gonna win? They're gonna figure it out. Like that's. I mean, I guess historically that's what happened. But if you think Pittsburgh and T.J. Watt and them are watching that tape and they're concerned with the Chiefs' offense, I think you're wrong. They're not a scary unit at all. You turn on the tape of Detroit, you're a little spooked on how you're going to slow these dudes down.
This is the difference. This is the
tape
difference.
of Buffalo, you're like, how are we going to slow down?
The difference
Josh
is psychological. Like the Chiefs aren't even impressing you on paper, and they're still beating you. That to me is almost scary.
Not on paper. On film.
Well, okay, on film, yes, the Lions and the Bills look better on offense than the Chiefs, clearly. But the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL right now, are they not?
Absolutely. What?
No.
No?
For me, I could argue that the Chiefs
I'm talking about one game. I'm putting money on one team in the Super Bowl. Right now, I'm going to have to do Kansas City. I'm sorry.
No, I wouldn't.
Maybe if Hutchinson's playing, I'll look at it differently.
It's 2-2. I'm with you, Alex. Pat Mahomes has 7 game-winning drives this year. Next has 4. They still got Mahomes.
Do you know what happens? You know what you have to do? You know what you have to be? You know what position you have to be in to have a game-winning drive? Losing. Or it being essentially a tie game. So when people tell me he has 10 game-winning drives this year, that means teams have been on all year long.
They win, they don't cover.
That's how I look at stuff like that. So Mahomes they have 10 game-winning drives. That means they're not beating anybody like they should. That's what it means to me. I'm just not sold on this Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm just fascinated that you're like saying this about the Lions. We do this every week. How do we not do this with the Chiefs? Every week we do this. I'm like 8 covers on the Chiefs this year. I know when to fade them. I know when to back them. I know the team very well. 3-0 in AFC West.
You can't be 8 covers on the Chiefs because I don't have the number. They haven't covered 8 games.
I think they've covered more this year than they have in previous wins.
Okay, we'll talk about that off. I don't think they have. They have 8 covers. How many? They've played
Seven?
like 12
Maybe
games.
7.
They're not 8-4 against the spread.
I've backed and faded this team I've backed and faded this team 8 times correctly.
Okay, there you go. So to bring it all home, I don't believe the Steelers are worried about.
I believe the Steelers in a situational spot.
What a polarizing team the Kansas City Chiefs right now.
You got 2 road games, and then you against Philly and Baltimore. You got to come back against Kansas City on Christmas. I mean, it's just on 4 days rest. It shouldn't even really count, to be honest, as like a playoff.
Yeah, it is nasty.
Barometer game.
They get out on it's like 3 or 4 days.
And again, we're also bucking against the Chiefs get everything favorable. This is something we haven't seen.
It's destiny.
All right, we got to go. Juiciest matchups. Last thoughts?
Destiny.
So week 15, if you have a team, you go
I think
a game.
I think the juiciest matchup is Lions Bills.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because I think the Bills are the best team in the AFC, and I think the Lions are the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's gonna be a week.